listening to On the Couch with Carly. Carly's couch is a safe space to talk. I'm a psychologist, but I'm not your pipe-smoking, tweed-wearing stereotype.
So I like to think in metaphors. That's how I work a lot in my therapy practice. It's just how I think. I make sense of things by likening them to other things because I think the human experience is like that. It's how our brains work. So I thought of just a few ideas about how to give insights to people about what having a baby is like before you have a baby. So there's a few metaphors that I like to think about. So the one metaphor is about going on a really serious hike, and you're going to have challenging moments along the way, and you need to be prepared for that. But the other thing I like to think about is, you know, those dreams that you have where you're at school and you haven't prepared for an exam and you're suddenly in the exam room and you're like, oh my gosh, how do I not know what this is? Or you like suddenly realize you're naked or something, and it's like intimidating and overwhelming, and you feel woefully unprepared and you feel embarrassed, and it's hard to have a sense of humor about it. But then when you think about it afterwards, you're like, okay, that was actually quite funny. That's also what having a baby is like. I think there's certain psychological experiences that we are just ill-equipped for. One of the things is grief. We just do not know how to process grief. It's one of those really messed up experiences that just sort of has no rhyme or reason, and no one can sort of like get the cheat codes for how to like figure it out ahead of time, so that when it occurs in your life, it always is like a tidal wave, or we keep it at bay, but eventually it's going to get to us. And it's not linear. It doesn't follow a predictable pattern. It's something that is often just about us being tripped up again and again and again and picking ourselves back up. And another really difficult emotion that we face is shame. And we feel shame when we're embarrassed, when we're humiliated, when we feel like we're trying at something and failing. And what makes it shameful is if we associate that failure or that incompetence with our personhood, with who we are as people. So we think, okay, I'm failing at this, or I'm finding this hard because I suck. I'm bad. I won't ever get good at this. Not that it's actually just a very steep learning curve, and you're learning and you're new to this, and it's okay that you don't know how to do it 100% yet. So when I think of these two experiences, when I think of grief and shame, I think total human disaster, right? Like washing machine effect, emotional overwhelm, really difficult to piece apart the different aspects of it, really hard to prepare for, and also really hard to share with others, because it's something happening for you that is so individual and so specific to you and your internal world. And those two emotions are so, so present in the postpartum period, and we do not talk about it. We talk about how amazing it is to have a baby because it makes your life feel complete, and it's so magical, and you feel a love that you've never felt before. We talk about how natural it is to have a baby, to feel a maternal instinct, to know what to do with our babies. And all of that is true. All of that is true. We are biologically designed to procreate, and there's something absolutely innate in us that knows how to make babies and look after babies. And it's also something that we learn how to do. And traditionally, we learned how to do it because we were living in small communities where we saw other people having babies around us from the time we were babies. And we had that sense of being in community, of having others around us, participating in those events as a community. You weren't on your own having a baby. You were around everyone. So you learned as you grew up. And then when it was your turn, you had everyone around you. So if you didn't know what to do, someone was there to say, this, or let me take the baby. You go bath while I look after the baby. And that's not the case anymore. So we don't live like that. We have a different setup in our world, in our modern world. And so, unfortunately, what we see is that we do still get these good feelings about having a baby. It is still a beautiful, beautiful, magical, blessed life event that warms us from the inside. It makes us feel all of the good feelings. I mean, the hormones that are involved can make you feel euphoric. And there will be a time when that experience shifts and you are faced with different emotions. The grief that we feel because our lives have changed and we have lost who we were. We've lost our lives that we had. We are no longer the people we used to be with the lives that we used to have. And it's okay to grieve that. It's right to grieve that. It's part of the process, but it's not something we anticipate. It's not something we think about. So I really think that's what makes it quite hard. And then in addition to grief, which is already impossibly hard thing to go through, we feel shame because we get the message that we should be naturals. We should manage this easily. We should know what to do. When a baby cries, it's like an alarm bell going off in our head. It's so, I don't know, it's like so urgent, and that's how they're designed. They're designed to make us act and to get a response from us. But the way it works is we first have to have our entire nervous system hijacked by those cries, right? That's what gets our bodies into action. But it's a lot for our nervous systems to cope with, particularly on our own, particularly if you are not with other people around you. And do that experimentally, when you have a baby. Notice for yourself what it feels like when you are with someone who cares about you and supports you and helps you feel less alone. And when you're on your own with your baby and they're crying, it will resonate differently. Some people find it less challenging when they're on their own because they don't feel judged. But then I think those people aren't the people for you to be connected to, right? Because some people are judgmental about parents. But we should be surrounded by people who are not judgmental, who support you, who make you feel cared for, loved even. And if you're around those people when your baby cries, it should feel easier, should feel lighter. So these are the things I think about, and I think about how unspoken about that is and how unfortunate it is that we don't speak about these things, because it's what makes the experience hard. It's what makes the process challenging, and we need to understand that.
Thank you so much for listening to On the Couch with Carly. If something in this episode resonated with you or made you feel less alone, that means the world to me. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and now in video format on YouTube. For exclusive content and resources, visit our website at onthecouchwithcarly.com. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please consider leaving a rating or review. It really does help others discover our safe space for authentic conversation. Until next time, please take good care of yourself. I can't wait to be back on the couch with you again.